I'm Mina Malik Hussain and you're watching The Coffee Table, and today, very excited, look how pretty my set looks for a very special reason, and today we're going to be talking about philanthropy in Pakistan, and to do it in this really balanced way, we've got the face of public philanthropy in Pakistan and the face of private philanthropy in Pakistan. And I'm sure, as you guys already know, Pakistan is one of the most charitable countries in the world, which is amazing, and I want to talk more about the excellent work that's being done in Pakistan to help the underprivileged. So joining me today on set is Abbas Buppi, who is the managing director of the Pakistan Maal, and Nuria Rafique Iqbal, who does so many wonderful things that I can't even begin to list them. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the set, both of you. Wonderful to have you guys. And Nuria, thank you very much for all my wonderful crocheted goodies on the set. You know, I love sort of doing it. I know, it's looking really pretty and festive. Especially love my astronaut. I'm going to talk to you about this astronaut in like 1 second. So tell me, so you took over the Maal about a year ago.
Yeah.
But what is the Maal?
It's a social welfare organization run by the government. It was set up in 1991.
All right.
And basically the government wanted to do something about the poverty. We have a budget of over 5 billion rupee right now.
Wow.
It used to be more than that. It used to be 10 billion a couple of years back.
A lot
in fact, 5 years back. Now it has been reduced. Now Prime Minister Imran Khan has been raising this thing. Probably next year we'll have 8 billion rupees, doing wonderful works. Maal basically looks after the underprivileged, the orphans. The main projects look after the orphans. We have around 60 orphanages in Pakistan, and we look after around 5,500 orphans with us. We cater for the education, we cater for the food, the nourishment, the confidence building measures, everything. We take boys from 4 to 6 years, and we keep them till they graduate.
Really?
Yeah.
So till till they matriculate?
Yeah, no, till they graduate.
Oh, like college?
Yeah. College, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we keep them with us. After that, then we provide them, we try to help them find jobs as well. This is one of the things.
So are there girls, are there orphanages?
There are no
also?
girls. You do understand this is a society where it's very sensitive about the girls. And being a government institution, looking after girls is another topic. I mean, it's something, me as MD Maal sitting in Islamabad, and we have a girl orphanage working in Kharan or Noshki in Balochistan, God knows what happens, being sensitive to, so we're not going into it. The main thing we do is the patient part. We sponsor all the poor patients. Last year I spent 1.1 billion rupees on the poor patient. Majority went for the cancer patients. We spent 700 million rupees for the cancer patients. We are the biggest donor of the cancer patients in Pakistan. And anyone who is under the poverty line of rupees 17,500 rupees, Maal is supposed to finance you.
Okay. And so the poverty line is 17,500 rupees because the minimum wage
that's the
in Pakistan.
Maal threshold line. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the minimum wage in Pakistan is 18,000 rupees.
17,500. Yeah. You know the poverty line is 24%. In Pakistan, and 17,500 is always defines that. So it's $2 per day that income.
$2 per day. But this is something I do want to I keep repeating this because the minimum wage in Pakistan is about 18,000 rupees. Everybody should know this because a lot of people don't pay their staff even minimum wage. This is the minimum. Nobody gets to decide that, it's enough for you. This much is fine for you. It's not. This is the law. So please remember this. Yes, on that very sort of teacherly and strict note. But it's true, I find it incredibly frustrating that people get paid like 7,000 rupees for a month's work. Yeah.
Or
especially for domestic workers.
Salaries. That's even worse.
But
they hold back salary, which I can never understand.
Prime Minister has been talking about it in Imran Khan, and I think he makes it a point. When he says that it's 17,500, people get to know about it. And then they just kind of implement it.
Exactly, because people need to know in order to understand that it's there for a reason. So we're going to sort of cycle back to Maal in just 1 second. But I want to talk to Nuria now.
Okay.
Hello. Hello there.
So, Nuria, so you do 1,000,001 things, which are all like fantastic. And now you must tell me about them. So first of all, we've got Labor and Love, which is all of this.
Yeah, so there are 3 different things that I kind of do. The main ones. Yes, the main ones. So one is Labor and Love, which I set up in about 2010. And it was basically to help women and so that they could earn an income. Because I felt that there were so many women, actually my own staff member, my cook, his wife, I used to feel very bad for her because she was always in her quarter, never went out. And I just felt that, women should be, they should be contributing members of society.
Right.
And they have talents and they have a lot of things that they can do.
Yeah.
So I just went with like handicraft because that's what I tell you, the artisans over here are amazing.
Yeah.
So I started that to help a lady who used to work for me. And it just grew from there.
Yeah.
So we actually originally started with taking the work to women in their home and teaching them how to make the sample for, a particular product.
Yeah.
And then we would come and have it collected and we'd pay them per piece at a rate above the market and they'd get paid immediately.
Oh, excellent.
Because that's another thing that happens with a lot of the artisans. So a lot of the work that you see in the markets, which is hand embroidered by women, it is actually by women at home, but there is a middleman who's always involved. So the women actually, either they don't get paid or they get paid like a tiny, tiny portion. So the idea behind our work is that, and this is what I have to keep explaining to people, that we're not super cheap like that because we are actually paying the women properly for their work.
You're not keeping like 80% of the profit for yourself and giving your workers like 10% and saying that it's handmade and it's artisan, which is something that I often wonder when one does, like you said, encounter sort of artisan, handmade, and a lot of it is becoming more popular as well now, sort of going back to the craft and going back to
we have a lot of talent here, so it's a good thing to use it.
Yeah, but it's important to ask those questions as well as a consumer, that how much of
you should ask
profits are going.
Like what is going to the women. So whatever we make goes straight back into labor and love so that we can, employ more women. And now we have a stitch center in Mahmood Booty. So women can they can come and learn from us and then they can either go off and set up their own stitching business or whatever, or they can work with us and then they get paid for whatever their work is.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
that is...
So you train people who can then sort of work independently, or they can work with labor and love as well, or do a combination of both.
So a lot of women have come to us, we've taught them, then they go and they, set up their own tailoring business at home or whatever. So at least they're, they're earning, and it makes a massive difference to their families as well.
Absolutely. We had somebody from Kashf on for another show, and again they give so many microloans to women, and they always say that women are very, very responsible about returning loans, which is wonderful to me, because that shows that they're really serious about the economic health of their households.
Their money properly in their household. So practically all the women, when I ask them, so what do you use the money for? So it's for the kids' tuition, for kids' clothing. It's really focused on, making their family better and improving their circumstances.
That's fantastic. It's so important. When one applies to the Baitul Maal for a loan, do we have statistics on how many women apply as opposed to men?
No. Basically, as a gender-based, as a gender-based society, of course, there are more loans. More things go to the manpower. I just add to what actually Nuria said.
I'm just curious. Do we know who can apply to Baitul Maal?
We do have women empowerment centers as well, Baitul Maal, and we have 160 women empowerment centers from Hunza till Turbat.
Okay.
And we have around 24,000 women. Every year we train, 12,000 every 6 months, so 24,000 every year we train. And we give them knitting classes, dyeing classes, English classes, computer classes. We have some localized classes. The women in Hunza may learn how to have the stone industry, how they work in the stone industry. Or the women in Turbat can work for those.
Women would do masonry.
Yeah, it's called a stone industry. They have some certain instrument they work with to clean up the stones and to make for the rings and stuff.
Oh, okay, for jewelry.
Yeah, jewels and everything. We have women who work for us in Turbat or in Balochistan to make those shawls, localized shawls. And those all women, they get stipends from us. That's around 10,600 rupees per 6 months.
Okay.
And apart from that, we've just signed an MOU with the Poverty Elevation Fund. All those women who get trained from us, they get money around 25,000 to 100,000 loan to start their own business. For example, if you've done a beautician course with us, you need to buy that beautician box. It all costs around 25,000 probably. So we get them a loan from the Poverty Elevation Fund for 18 months, which they pay off interest-free in 18 months, and they can start, become their own entrepreneur.
Excellent. That's so amazing. And it's so helping
So I just got to know what you're actually doing. We're at a very big scale.
Of course,
but
massive
Government.
But no, I think it makes a massive difference when you want to help somebody, because it's the same thing with the lady, how I started it. Was
just
a lady who used to
woman.
work for me, and her husband never worked, during that time. And she left her job because she had finally had a child, and of course, she couldn't work. And she came back after 3 months asking for money. So I was about to give her the money. And then I thought to myself, wait a second, if I give this, she's going to be back next month. She's going to be back the month after that. And instead, I remembered that she was good at embroidery. So I told her, can you make, it was a Pakistan flag in sequins, because we'd also I'd started another charity at the same time that was doing emergency relief aid.
Tell me about that now.
But that's how Labour in Love started. Because it was, I just thought she'll end up being back here. Instead, I should help her get up on her feet. And
it's that give a man a fish thing.
Absolutely.
Or give a woman a job, really.
With the kind of nation we have, we need to focus. It's a very honourful nation. Seriously, they want to earn. They just don't want to get money from it. I'll just tell you one small story I remember. I was in Ziyarat in 2008. There was an earthquake down there. And I went to one of the mountains. There was like 12 houses up there. It's called Harnai. The district was Harnai. And I went to the first house where there were the 3 deaths. Said my Fatiha and went to the household guy and I said, okay, can I help you with something? I had loads of blankets and foods and medicine, everything. And the guy said, no, actually, Alhamdulillah, I'm perfectly fine. Can you go to the next house? I went to the next house, said the Fatiha again, 2 deaths. And the guy said, no, I'm perfectly fine. Can you go? And I kept on going to all 12 houses. Trust me, not a single pack of chips or a biscuit or anything they took from me. And they said, perfectly fine. We can go help someone else somewhere down the road. We just don't need anything. It's a nation which has an honor. So it just, when they comes to this poverty line, 38% of multidimensional poverty we have, and 24% in terms of $1.9, they are really up to the grounds, and when they come to Baitul Maal, I can understand, their honor is at stake, but they must be asking, they must be very deserved when it comes to Baitul Maal. Thinking about the Baitul Maal and Hazrat Umar Farooq Raziyallahu anhu, people who come to Baitul Maal, they do understand this is the last lender of the last resort. So we got to be very careful then, because the nation is, alhamdulillah, especially after Prime Minister Imran Khan's government, we all really feel very privileged to be as Pakistani and hanging those little flags out there.
Of course. So we're just going to take a very quick break and come back to talk more about philanthropy and all the wonderful work that is happening here. Stay with us. Hi, welcome back to the coffee table. We're talking to Abbas Buppi from the Baitul Maal and Nuria Rafique Iqbal from many places. That's about philanthropy. It does. I'm being naughty with you, Nuria. But see, this is why I said many places, because we talked about Labour in Love, and On was talking about the earthquake. But this it's a very good segue into you telling me about how you set up the bargain basement sale.
Yes. So Bargain Basement Sale started in 2005, and it was actually following the earthquake, the 8th of October, the massive one.
We had up north.
So there was everybody was wanting to do something, and there was a bunch of us friends, and we were thinking of, we needed to raise money, so we thought of doing like a fashion show. But then with a fashion show, you need to get sponsorship, and you need more money to be able to do it. So we were thinking, okay, we have to think of something else. And actually, I always say that it was actually Jemima Khan who gave me this idea, because at the same time, Jemima Khan, I was on the internet and I saw that she had arranged an event in London with different brands, and they had given items to help raise money for the earthquake. So I thought this would be a great idea. And my friend whose house we were having these meetings at, she had a huge basement in it.
So actual basement.
Yes, so it was an actual basement. So I said, look, why don't we do this? Why don't we tell all the big brands and the designers to donate items, and we will sell them off at discount. And everything will go for charity. And there's also, it's a win-win for both sides, because you get a lovely outfit for half price, and And I said, you have this basement, so we can call it the Bargain Basement Sale, and we can do it there. So that's how we did it, and we organized it in 2 weeks, and people were so generous. So generous. I cannot tell you the clothes that we got. In 2 weeks' time, it was like her whole basement was packed full of stuff.
Well, and brand new things.
Brand new. It's always brand new.
Yeah.
And the first sale that we did, it sold out in like 2.5 hours. Wow. And we raised 18 lakhs at that time, which we donated to Yasmin Lari. She was working with the National Heritage Foundation. So they were building homes in earthquake areas using the same materials that they have, and using the local community. So we thought that was a great way of doing it. So it started then, and then every year we were doing this event.
It's really become a sort of landmark event now. Come November, let's like BBS and this yellow and red little logo starts popping up. And you're like, oh, I've got to sort of take my cash out.
I just think it's a wonderful way of, the idea behind it really is to give a platform for like the fashion community, for the brands to give back.
Yeah. And now it's expanded from clothing to homeware.
It's everything. So it's art, jewelry, homeware, and the home stuff sells really, really fast. And I just feel that we can always give back. And I think businesses should also, all businesses can work their models around some way of a corporate, social responsibility. Yeah. It's not very difficult.
A lot of multinationals do it, but it's a model that I think would be really helpful for local businesses to adopt as well.
And what I love doing, we have the big brands and all, but I really love the fact that because we do give every brand, their own social media posts, and we talk about them and everything. And I think it's wonderful for the smaller brands because it's a really good bunch of, public, that comes to the event.
Yes.
So it's great for the small businesses as well, that your brand gets to be known. So there's also really something they get back.
And it's really nice that small brands also donate things to the sale. It's not just that, we haven't really got a margin and we can't really do it.
People are so big-hearted. They're really, really big-hearted. And our event happens in November, but now during the year, told by people, Acha, Nuria, I have some, we have some sales stock left over. I'm going to give that for Bargain Basement. And a couple of years ago, we also started a vintage section at Bargain Basement Sale. So that is high-end designer wear items that people donate. So that's the actual donations from the public. And that section, it sells out so fast. And it's also...
That's also great.
Yeah,
fabulous. And also the idea that...
level.
And because sort of culturally we tend to give our used things to our help.
Yeah.
And sort of that strata of society. But this is great because, abroad there's this huge sort of trend for vintage and second-hand clothes. But I think it's really great to sort of also kind of jump over that taboo a little bit as well. So what charities does the Bargain Basement Sale support?
So the idea is that we support charities that are doing great work, which are short of funds. Right. So we look at any charity, basically, and we open the applications up in August, September. So we get applications from different charities to take a look at them. We do go and vet them.
Okay.
So we go and see the work that they're doing. We will look at their financial accounts. Right. We will look at all of that so that we also do our check from our side.
Yes, which is very important because I think with charity work, there's always this question that, where is the money really going to the people?
Yeah, and what we do, it just runs only on goodwill, right? So you have to be really transparent and very clear and very above board about everything. So that's what we do. So, and we try to have about 6 charities every year because I feel that, the brands, you've got brands from all over the country that are giving things. And so you should try and support as many different causes as possible.
And I really love that in the past, the BBS has also included animal welfare charities as well, which is really special.
Yeah, Todd's Welfare Society was one of our
That's wonderful.
Charities.
Because, you have the usual ones, you have education and healthcare, but also animals and anything, and everyone is free to apply. Like we just had our event in November and we raised 72 lakhs. Wow.
And that's in 5 hours.
Fantastic. I shake your hand. Well done.
But it's fun because it's it's for the community to come together.
And it's a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
It's a massive undertaking.
Mashallah.
So tell me, how does the Baitul Maal sort of work? I'm very intrigued also. So these are, can one donate to it?
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So it's not just government money?
No, it's not government money. You can come to Baitul Maal, you just pay in kind or cash, whatever you like. I just tell you a small part of it. We launched that cochlear implant thing? The Baitul Maal is doing that.
Know.
Yeah, you know what cochlear implant is?
Yes. But tell us.
They're kids who actually, when they're born, they have some issues with listening.
Right.
If they can't listen, they can't speak.
Of course.
So we can't call them deaf and dumb, but they have their nerves impressed on the back of their ears, basically.
So it's a curable partial deafness, which is curable.
Yeah. There's a device that's called a cochlear implant. If you put it inside this implant that's put on the back of the ear, that helps you listen to it. And once you start listening, you can speak as well. It costs around 1.3 million. To
1.3 million?
To 1.8 million. That's the minimum. To 1.8 million. Depending.
Is that 13 lakhs?
Yeah, 13 lakhs.
Wow.
That's almost $10,000.
Wow.
That depends. If it's in Austria,
it's a lot of money. Yeah.
But it's one child. If it starts listening, then starts speaking, it becomes
the whole life changes.
Yeah, it becomes part of this whole society. So the last government, they had this thing, 150 operations done in 5 years' time with the government budget. When we started it, we didn't have the money, of course. So what we did is we launched a campaign, and I was so amazed. There's a guy who called me up from America. He said, "Okay, I've just seen an ad of yours, and I've just to give 10 million rupees." I was so happy. That was the first 10 million I got for the cochlear implant.
So that's, you can donate to the cause, any cause. You
and
can
the
give
second part is
money.
the second part is more interesting. And one fine day, somebody texted me on Twitter that I want to see you, and I passed that text to my staff officer, and he contacted the person. And there was this couple who came into my office, and they said, "Okay, last year we gave our zakat to one of the leading hospitals in Lahore. This year,
many people do.
And this year we were talking to our daughter, and she said, "Okay, why did you give money to Prime Minister Imran Khan and the Baitul Maal?" And he just took a check out of his pocket. Guess what the amount was? 110 million rupees.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
the zakat money, and they just, "Okay, that's for your projects." And he said, "Okay, please, this is our zakat. Just spend it wisely." That's the only advice. And went away. Never saw them again. Never met them again. Don't even remember their name. They didn't even tell their names as well.
Wow.
So that's the kind of society. Now I have almost money for 200 cochlear implants. We're going to have 500 this year, inshallah, with the help of the Baitul Maal and from the private ones. But just to add it what you said, I just have a small story to remember. I just remember that people have big hearts in Pakistan.
Yes, I mean, look at this, just walk out with a massive check and take it.
You know, the philanthropy runs in the blood of every Pakistani. I was working in 2010 in floods in Dera Ghazi Khan, and there's a place called Rajanpur. There's a district. There's a tehsil called Jampur, and there's a small place called Kotla Mughla.
Right.
So when I reached at Kotla Mughla, I had to first took my jeep from Multan till Kotla Mughla, then I took a truck, then I took a tractor trolley, then we had boats.
Oh my God.
Boats.
Because it was mental image on all these different.
Because it was in the middle of Indus Basin we have to reach, and there were like thousands of people who used to live there. So when we made it over there, the whole day we worked, we had the medical camp, we had Russian, we cooked everything. And in the evenings, somebody just sent me a food, a huge food, trays of 3 trays with fish and everything.
Wow.
And I just asked, "Who sent it?" He said, "You don't want to ask." I said, "Why?" He said, "It's from the Bosan gang." You heard of Bosan gang? That's the biggest gangsters who live in the Indus Basin on the border of Sindh and those people. Wow. And I said, "If they know it, I'm here, the money guy is here, they may take you." I said, "No, you have a free entry from here. Nobody will touch you because all those kids you just treated, they all belong to Bosan Gang's family. And that's food." So I'm just trying to tell you, even the gangsters have the hearts in Pakistan.
They recognize that somebody's trying to do
For 3 days, I didn't ask, they didn't say anything. We just kept on doing our work. We went back, and after like 3 years, I saw on TV, they were all arrested, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
well,
But there's a similar incident to this in Quetta. I think it was Idi Saab.
Okay.
And he was, there was a time when they were not allowing anybody coming in. And Idi Saab, they allowed him to come in without any problem. They gave him,
so it's a nation full of...
Yes, safe passage.
I think nobody would have ever laid a finger on Idi.
No. But I do believe what you're saying.
I think it's not been Idi Saab, it's the nation's own honor. They just love it. When you're working on something which, it is for the society, for the nation, they just love it. No matter what part of the society they reflect. The lowest part, the criminal part, or whatever part they are, they just let you off.
Yeah.
So this is really special because we are such a diverse country, culturally, language-wise, cuisines, it's such a sort of melting pot of different cultures, but charity is one thing that all of us come together
and everybody believes in.
It's the one
a very strong manner.
We are the 10th largest zakat paying or the fundraising country in the world right now. Yes. In the taxpayer, we are on 170, by the way.
I know.
Oh gosh. But that is something that is it's thought-provoking.
It's ironic.
Also, because there's this huge gap between, because paying your tax is it's what responsible citizens do, because tax money is supposed to be used for the welfare of the people.
Actually,
but I think that change over time? I think that'll change over time, because naturally with previous governments and with corruption, and you don't feel comfortable giving. And I think in Pakistan, where people feel that, they know exactly where it's going, where it's transparent. People have no issue in giving.
I think that's the very important thing.
They have no issue at all.
There has to be transparency, and people need to be able to trust you.
Yes.
That, what's going on with the money, because again, there's just... It's really difficult. So how does the Baitul Maal, is there an annual report or something that one can look at to be like, oh, this is
our
going
financials is on the webpage.
Okay, they're on the webpage.
Financial
For
allocations.
transparency.
Financial allocations, we do it on the basis of money we get. The first main part goes for the medical, then goes to the orphans, then women empowerment centers. We have schools, 160 schools. We have 18,000 kids who study with us till the primary schools. We give money for lots of other things. For example, last month, a couple of months back, I went to this Lahore jail, Kot Lakhpat. We have 50 prisoners being, coming out of because for the small crimes they had and the pride money they had to pay. We just paid for it and got them out. So we do lots of things.
So rehabilitation of people coming out of jail also?
No. We just, not the rehabilitation part, but they give money. If, for example, if you've done a crime, you are supposed to stay there for 6 months.
Right.
And there's a small token money you have to pay.
Like
if you
bail?
don't pay, No.
It's not bail.
There's the fine you have to pay.
Oh, okay.
If you don't pay the fine, you have to pay another 6 months.
Oh, all
So
right.
we paid those fines for small criminals and things are done. So they can come out as just part of society. That's Islamic as well. Anything which comes in Islam, we just do it. And the best part of Baitul Maal is, we do everything. I heard about a lady, she's a Christian. She's from Scotland. She was working in Stalcourt. And she's running an orphan for the girls only. 3 months back, I heard about it that she didn't have the money to pay for the bills. Now that's where Baitul Maal can just come in. So what we did is I talked to a few friends and Baitul Maal all went together. We just helped her out, bailed her out. So there are so many other things we're doing in terms of helping other NGOs as well. So if they can't stand up, we just fund them as well so they can stand up.
So it's really important to note here that the Baitul Maal's work is for everybody. So that includes minorities, that includes everyone. It's not just
thalassemia, dialysis, minorities, Christians, Christmas, Diwali, you name it, anything Baitul Maal is. It's not for the Muslims, it's for every minority, everybody is in Pakistan.
It's for Pakistanis. Yes.
So,
we're going to take a very quick break on this very sort of uplifting note. And we'll see you in 1 minute. Stay with us. Hello and welcome back to the coffee table. We're talking about philanthropy and all these wonderful stories of all the amazing works that are they are being done for real, legit. So tell me, the Baitul Maal does so many different things. And one thing that I think we all think about is like, but then why are there so many beggars on the road? And there's some really aggressive ones now. Really sort of...
See, it's very hard to define which sort of beggars are on the roads. I mean, some may really be deserving ones, but there's certain who really belong to certain kind of professional beggars who are doing it. Once Baitul Maal did it, we got them off the street in Islamabad. We worked with the Deputy Commissioner of Islamabad. We we just picked them up from the streets, took them to the Baitul Maal center, said, we'll pay you off. Let's start, get you jobs. We'll give you money. And in 3 days' time, they will all back on the streets.
Oh, no!
Somehow it's it's so strong, the whole community part, and there are tiers of it. They have the top guys, they have the middlemen, they have the guy who runs
the hierarchy.
That's like a whole business setup.
Even the main chalks, the Kalma chalk. This guy. They have those things divided, and they just run like it. You just enter their territory. You put another guy, get your guy on the street on the main Kalma chalk, and see what happens to him.
It's like knack the knife, it's like get out of my place.
It's difficult, but there's certain deserving, but it's very hard to differentiate between the two. So, Baitul Maal just kept on the back. We didn't work that much into it. But just to let you know, because guys were discussing in the break as well, it's very easy to apply at Baitul Maal. We have we have 160 district offices across Pakistan in every district. We are even in North Waziristan right now. We are in South Waziristan, which is the hardest of the terrain in Pakistan. And we have 7 regional offices. Just go to the Baitul Maal office.
So how does it work? You go to the Baitul Maal office, you fill out
application
a form.
forms. If you have to apply for a financial support, you can apply for it. If you are apply for a disability allowance, that's 10,000 rupees, or a wheelchair, you can apply there. You want to apply for education scholarship, you want to apply for the medicals part, you just fill up your form, get your number, and just send it over.
Okay, and how long does the process take?
We normally say 2 months, but we try to get it in 21 days. Education scholarship or the medical part, we do in 21 days. Except that you have audit observations or something else which is wrong on your part, or the forms did not fill properly, that's something else.
And then does somebody go from the Baitul Mal office to the applicant's house? If you get shortlisted,
that's what happens is,
okay.
There's a district officer, he has to go to the applicant's home, verify that it comes in that deserving part of it, and then sends a report to the head office.
Okay.
From there, the checks does not go directly. If it's a financial support, it goes directly to the beneficiary. But if it's a medical part, it goes to the hospital directly.
Oh, okay.
And the beneficiary gets the text that your money has been delivered to hospital. Please go to the hospital and start your treatment, everything.
Okay.
Or if it's the education scholarship, the money goes to the university or the college. It has to be public sector, no private ones.
Yeah.
And there gets a text that you can go to your college, your fees have been paid over there. So that's where it was.
Can I ask something? Because a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
So why do you not do like ads on?
I think it's more to do with the social media. It was not really much on the social media. Now, if you do follow the Twitter account of Baitul Mal, we have taken on more than 500 public notices in the last 7 months.
Wow.
That is only symbolically, just to let people know that Baitul Mal is there. Not,
or you watch this show, and now you will know.
I tell people, have you ever heard a place called Vashuk? It's on the Iranian border. It's a district of the Senate chairman, by the way.
Okay.
I got a text on a Twitter account that there's a guy who has a son who is a thalassemia patient, and he lives in Vashuk. There's no one who can help him up. We got them help in 3 hours. The guy from Quetta texted, somebody went to his house, we got the inquiry report, we sent the money to Quetta, and the boy started it. I was just thinking about it.
Sometimes you really love the internet.
It's social media.
Social media.
That works so quick. Otherwise, the guy from Vashuk is closer to Iran, rather than Islamabad, but it's the social media that works. So what we're trying to use is using the social media, tell the people that Baitul Mal is there. At times, I was so amazed that people do not even know what Baitul Mal is.
I know. And it sounds like, some finance ministry kind of thing.
I can assure you that we don't keep money in our account. Whatever we get on every first quarter, so the money we get on the 1st July, or the 1st October, or the 1st January, or the 1st April, we use it in 1.5 months' time. We just try to finish it as fast as possible.
And I'm sure there's so much need that it's not even difficult to spend that money.
Prime Minister is so sensitive about it. We know we launched a program called Abbas. If you heard of it, Abbas is really actually we put up all those organizations under one umbrella. Benazir Income Support Program, Baitul Mal, and Poverty Alleviation Fund. All
to get those texts from them. Sport and
So we're all under one umbrella working together because Prime Minister has put a lot of money, 180 billion has rupees for the Abbas. Of course, Baitul Mal gets a small chunk of it. Majority goes to the best one, which we just got the text for it. But it's a great program, and Prime Minister just loves it. So we all have to be on our toes for it.
It's a wonderful program, and I think people should know about it because that there is, because I think for so many of the poor people, you feel like there is no help for you, and that helplessness is actually causes the most stress, I think, for our people.
Quite right, and frustration.
It's very, very stressful for them.
Exactly, and frustration with the state and just sort of general kind of feelings of hopelessness. So Nuria, you also work with the Rising Stars Foundation.
Yes.
Which is it's their schools.
That's right, it's schools, but actually it started as an emergency relief aid organization. It was during the army operations in Swat. So a bunch of us friends got together and we wanted to, help. So we were helping those who were living with host families, so from the internally displaced persons. So IDPs who were living with host families. And because we figured that if they were in a camp, then somebody was looking after them.
Quite right. But and they were also disrupted from their normal routines, and children need to go to school.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and the families were roughly about 7 to 8 people in a family. So that is actually quite a lot for another family member to take on and absorb. And
especially a family that's not very affluent to begin with.
Yes, exactly. So that's how we started it. But the interesting thing when you were talking about respect and honor and,
and dignity.
So for us, we were very lucky because we got on board this wonderful young man, Muhammad Imran, who is actually from Swat and he still works for us. And because he was local to the area, he was the one who was telling us what kind of food things they like to eat, what kind of, this thing. He could speak the language, So we made an amazing headway for a tiny little, we weren't even an organization actually at the time, we were just a group of friends. And same way
that's really important because I think that contributes to dignified charity work is when you are trying to be familiar with local customs and the things that they eat and the things that they actually need, as opposed to, people mean well and might be sending things that they don't need in Swat.
And a lot of the complaints we were getting was that, like, the World Health Organization, which it does do amazing work, and I don't mean to say anything like that, but like their food packets were not edible. They didn't want to eat it. So what you were mentioning about the respectful way, so the way we gave the aid is we would go into the homes, we would check the ID cards, we would sit with the family. Then when we would give the aid, we actually went into each home. There was no truck where people came to get their
grab
food from,
things
because we thought that it was just such an undignified way of giving, and there were a lot of people, and they're very honourable people. And
it wasn't like a dole line where you're just
who wants to stand in a line? I mean, these are people who've been providing for their families themselves.
And they have been traumatized enough by external events, then sort of having to tack on another humiliating experience, which would be sort of go like a beggar to get something.
So I think
that's not the intention.
And because we did it in that manner, we got such a lot of goodwill from the people. And then we helped them relocate back home when it finished. We helped about 5,000 families during that period. And that was just from friends giving us money and, And when they went back home, we started to do community programs. So we would do cricket matches and, like fun things.
And wholesome, enjoyable things that
and
everybody can
society
participate
had kind of been
in.
like broken, They'd come back to their homes after all of this, this major trauma. And then they said to us that, please, can you open schools? Because we actually have no schools here. So it wasn't our intention, because we were not like,
you didn't go in.
No, we didn't go in with that at all in mind. But, if somebody asks you something, then I think you feel obliged that you need to help. And there were no schools in their places. So we set up schools with help with developments in literacy. They came to us. So we went to them and we said, look, we want to open schools in these places, but we don't, know
we
education.
don't have the infrastructure for it. We don't know how to go about doing it.
And so can you help us? So they would do they helped us with all the teacher training, with the teaching aids, with everything. And mashallah, now our schools have been going for like nearly 10 years, and we're up to metric level. And originally when the school started, they were, all the schools, they're donated by the people. So the land was donated, because we said we can't afford to make a building. And they were like, no, you don't have to do that. We will get people to give the land. So everything it's working with the community.
Everybody just pulling together to help each other out.
And we don't charge any fees because, people do not have those kind of funds. We have 4 schools in Swat, and one is in Uch Sharif in southern Punjab, which just accidentally worked out that way. When we were giving aid, I don't know what happened, but we had a contact there. And,
and it turned into a school. But that's amazing that so many parents want to educate their children.
Of course.
And everybody wants their children to have a better life.
Of course. I mean, the one funny incident was, so we were in like Swat area, okay? So that is like Taliban, like whatever stronghold at that time. And one day we got a call from one of our field coordinators saying that this guy had wanted to come, a Maulvi wanted to come and check out our school. So we got like this panic attack amongst all of us.
Why?
Like, no, don't tell him, I don't know. And he said, no, Bibi, I think, bas usko, he just wants to come and see it. And the amazing thing, and this is what, it's also, we have preconceived ideas about people. And the funny, what I thought was the adorable thing was that he came to the school and he was running a madrasa before. And he came and he was so impressed. And he was like, this is amazing what you are doing. This is wonderful, and I'll bring more kids to come here. So it was a total, like for us, we were getting worried. And it was actually, we have such preconceived ideas, which are totally, we need to always
and
look
he was
at
so
people
supportive,
very
and he was so
supportive.
excited about it. And I think that's the beauty of charity work and philanthropy is
you
that
bring people together.
And we are sort of able to break down the barriers that we have between ourselves. Also, we have class, we have class barriers, our belief. Sort of again, like I said before, Pakistan, we are so diverse. But
and
there's
also generally, like what you
us.
was also saying, I think everybody wants to improve themselves. We all want to improve our situation. And if we can work with that and know that we all have that common ground, there's so much that we can, do. And I think it takes away those the boundaries between us, between the social classes as well, between the tribal classes or whatever that we have.
Quite right.
And people should learn that we're all one at the end of the day. We're not.
And whether we're doing it privately or we're doing it publicly, we're all basically just trying to help each other out.
That's the combination for any society to work. So if the private sector is doing its job, like what Nuria is doing at a small level, and Baitul Maal doing a very large level. So if everybody starts working in private, and the government chips in with Baitul Maal and all those, that's how you build the society. Government can't do it on its own. The society has to come and play its part.
Quite right. And then we fill in the gaps of expertise as well. Like you have people on the ground who know the language, or or people can approach Baitul Maal and be like, we can do this, so can you help?
Just Qatar charity and those Saudi charities, they wanted to work in Balochistan. They didn't have the NOCs.
Right.
So just started working with us. They can you work in Balochistan? Because yes, fair enough. You can use our offices, you can use our staff, and you can work it. So we work in Kashmir with different NGOs who do not have the staff or the capacity to work in the area. So I think this is a very ideal combination. And Alhamdulillah, we're so lucky to be in Pakistan. People like her, organizations like her, they're working. And we have a government or a prime minister like Imran Khan, who is, thinking all the time about these things. And I'm sure, inshallah, one day you will see a different chain, a different country probably.
As long as we all pull along, and remember that at the end of the day, we're all one nation.
We are one nation.
And we need to bring everything together.
I think it just needs a hope, just a small ray of hope that it's required. And when the people start believing in the government and the credibility, I think people will start chipping in with it. If they can ask you to open a school in Sawat because they believe that the money they give it to you will be used in a proper way. Or even they come to me to give the zakat to a government department. Have you ever thought of people coming, giving the zakat to a government? I mean, why would you do that? But still, when the belief comes, when the faith comes, it starts to kick in.
But they should do that, right?
Yeah.
They should do that. You should be able to go to the government and you should give it.
But yay! So, on this sort of really uplifting and wonderful note, thank you both for being on the show.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Wonderful. Thank you for all your
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your efforts and all your hard work.
Very kind of you.
And giving back to society. And thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this show so that people know where they can give their monies and where you can help and volunteer and help give back to make this country a better place for all of us. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the coffee table. Bye now.